We are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 88, where we get our weekly dose of hot takes, discuss recent K-pop news and events, and give you the state of the nation. Boom. We are at Hot Takes with Harold. Let me go get cousin Harold so he could give his weekly hot take.
Oh, there goes Doug to get Harold. Is Harold coming? Harold is almost here. There's Harold.
Hi, Warren.
Hey, man.
So, the weekly hot take is, it's very short this week. Dispatch is just doing its job. Boom. Kind of spicy.
Okay.
That's kind of what that's what I've heard people say that you have connections with Dispatch, Harold. Oh, he just left.
No comment.
He just left.
You know, cousin Harold might be the editor-in-chief of Dispatch.
Right, the man has spiced himself, right? Like, if anything.
But the weekly hot take is Dispatch is just doing its job. That is potentially a spicy take, right?
Okay. That's a really difficult take.
All right,
we're talking about ethics here, like morality. Like, man, this is like a philosophical topic all of a sudden. When did we get this deep?
So let's start at the front. Dispatch is essentially Korean TMZ, right?
For the US.
Yes.
So TMZ is a paparazzi news source that just drops like spicy news. Not all the time, like backed up with the most hard facts, but they just drop like bombs on the industry, right?
Yes.
Particularly on the entertainment industry, that's their core focus. When I wanted to, like, Dispatch has this reputation for being very negative because people think they intrude into celebrities' lives, that kind of thing. I completely get that on an ethics standpoint, why that's bad. Therefore you would think, oh yeah, you're just going to disagree with the take, right? Because they're not just doing their job, they're invading people's space. But hold on just a minute, right? Okay. My opinion is that Dispatch is just doing their job because if the public didn't want spicy news, Dispatch wouldn't be a thing.
Okay. That's kind of fair to say. Elaborate a little bit.
Okay, so what I mean by that is I think Dispatch is literally just doing their job. What is their job? To no, I honestly think so because their job at the end of the day is to release news stories or information about what celebrities are doing, right?
Right.
Do I agree ethically with what they're doing? No, right? Because they definitely sometimes overstep or sometimes they don't get enough credible sources behind their story. They just drop something, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they're just doing their job because that's what the public wants. At the end of the day, I think a lot of fans sometimes want some spicy news to be dropped. What is your initial impression of this, Warren?
I also have very mixed feelings, right? I know that you compared it earlier to TMZ. But the thing with Dispatch is they're kind of different in the sense that within Korea they're kind of recognized for being the people who like are the best at collecting the facts. Like they're kind of like known for like collecting evidence and just putting it out all at once with just like a bombshell. That being said, I there has been many arguments on whether what they do is, kind of not protecting artist privacy, whether it be legal or is it legal, or like is it does it allow for basic human rights for the artists, yada yada yada. There's a lot of conversation. The thing is, I do agree with Doug, right? There's what I like to call the comic book hero argument, and it's the thing where like there's so many great heroes, but there's only so many great villains too, and like the great villains only exist because of the great heroes. It's the concept that the evilness exists to kind of support the concept of the great heroes and the positive figures in the industry, and that kind of plays in here too. Right, because Dispatch exists, we are able to look at these gossip news reports, people about dating and like scandals and whatnot. And to be honest, because they do collect evidence and like sometimes what I would consider like pretty factual, like just photos of them dating, like, it's kind of difficult to argue against in that aspect. I mean, I guess with the take, are they just doing its job? yeah, they're just doing their job. I don't like the job they're doing. I wouldn't work for Dispatch. Let's just put it that way, right?
Right.
Like I wouldn't work for Dispatch. I wouldn't want to be friends with people who work for Dispatch. Actually, I take it back. If I know work, if I know people who work from Dispatch, I get to insider knows quick, right? I wouldn't want to personally. I wouldn't want to support them on a personal level. But yeah, I do think they exist because there's a demand, and therefore, are they just doing their job? Yeah, I that's kind of what I think.
Well, Anita, what's your initial impressions before we talk about it further?
It's kind of random. Yeah.
Well, when this was the take, right? Because we get a little sneak peek, right? We get to know what the hot take might be for this week. I had this conversation with other people regarding
Really?
recent news, right? Because we covered it last week with the COVID-19 club outings, right? With celebrities and all that stuff, which Dispatch kind of released and brought up to the media. And the aftermath, I guess, is what I was focused on more. What happened after this news broke out. And I guess to me on a personal level, that particular news didn't feel that severe to reflect as to how people were reacting. And I guess this is my counter argument to this idea that there is a demand for this information and like people want to know what's going on, who they're dating, where they're going, who they're seeing, like the what could be considered relatively innocent and sometimes like pretty bad when it comes to like illegal activities from these people. And to me, it seems that yes, journalism has this duty of stating facts, showing what's going on, and bringing it to the public, but there's just certain things where like it really shouldn't be that, like you shouldn't really be privy to that information as a general audience, because it's not necessarily either anything that the government will take any action in, that you can really have like a action in at all, like that would affect you directly. So I don't know. I think for me, like Warren mentioned it, yes, they're doing their job, but is it a job that I wish they were doing? Not most of the time, no.
Right. Kind of an argument I see often in the Korean comment section is like, I don't want to know about this person dating who. Why aren't you reporting this political thing that's going on? That's like an argument that comes up often, right? Because because there's not that many attention given to like certain political movements, laws being passed and whatnot. On the other hand, like two idols are dating, the whole world explodes. And that is kind of sad to watch, right? Because like it's I feel like this applies to pretty much every country, not just limited to Korea, but like some people just don't care about politics and what happens in the society. And dating news is it's entertaining, it's fun, it's interesting. Of course, it is kind of sad, but it is what it is. That's what
Yeah, going back to my argument that the public wants it, right? So these are like the dating scandals. Well, not dating scandals, dating releases, news that they've released in the past. So Rain, Kim Tae-hee, Yoona Lee-seung-gi, Junsu Hani, G-Dragon plus Juyeon from After School, Kai Jenny, Jio Kang Daniel. The argument for me as to why the public wants it is because this year at New Year's, they didn't release dating news on New Year's Day, which is one of their things that normally happens. And the public was kind of angry. They're like, where is it? Right?
That's true. Yeah.
that did happen. With the dating stuff, I think personally that's a little bit overstepping, right? Because they're like taking these weird photos of them in like a car together. That's kind of
creepy.
But when but in terms of like the bigger news topics, like the idols going to the clubs that had COVID, the BI drug investigation, Wendy's accident, YG stepping down, Wonho's interview post what happened to him, the JYP cult allegations, right? Not all of those things were proven to be true or not, right? I think which is their fault.
Yes.
But at the same time, if some of those are true, I think that the public deserves to know that because they're the ones who are, if you think about this industry, we invest our time and money into the product they're putting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my opinion would change. Like the JYP cult allegations, I can't tell you if it's true or not, right? Let's assume for a fact that it is, right? He's in this crazy cult and they do crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
As a consumer of K-pop, I would like to know that. If I'm the one going to invest time in JYP, I'm gonna like JYP as an entity and the idols and whatever he's putting out.
Investing, yeah.
Right.
So it comes down to that: does the public deserve to know some of these things? Right. That's another argument that comes up.
It's a similar thing as the Galaxy Note 8, right? Like I wouldn't want to buy a product that has faulty issues or like there's stuff I don't want to support. Then I don't buy the product. That's what it is. Yeah,
I think that this dispatch, obviously, I can't be the one, because I'm not the one who's editing the things before they go out, to know if we're sure 100% this is a story, or if we're just throwing this out there because we know it's going to get traction, right? I'm sure it goes both ways sometimes.
All right.
There have been rumors and allegations in the past that dispatch extorts people before releasing stories, meaning that the allegations are that sometimes dispatch will approach people that they're about to drop a story on, and they're
Blackmail.
they extort them / blackmail them, saying we won't release it, or we won't release it as bad if you pay us. That has been an allegation. Obviously, we can't corroborate that or not, right?
I'll criticize that when we get confirmation that's a thing.
But I would say that because they're the one dropping a lot of these quote unquote truth bombs, they have a big position of power because they can ruin reputations.
Yeah.
Whether the story is true or false.
That is true. That's the kind of scary part, right? Because they do have a monopoly in this kind of market. Like the other news sources, they're good at pumping out gossip, but nobody puts out this much evidence like Dispatch does. It's
also when Dispatch drops something, regardless of in the future if they retract the statement or change it, people pay attention to the first release for the majority of the time.
That's also true, yeah.
So it's that fine line between news and rumor. Now, Dispatch clearly has a place in the industry because people are yearning to always get up the news story. Because obviously, we as humans like to hear when something weird, interesting happens, right? I think it's unreasonable to say Dispatch should disappear because we don't want to know what's happening. Because clearly we do want to know what's happening, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, are they now going back to the take? Are they just doing their job? Technically, right? But is the job they're doing morally right? That's up to the individual consuming it.
I do think they're doing their job. I think they're doing their job. I do think there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they could be doing a better job of what they're doing. It would be nice if they don't have complete control over the industry. I do want to shine positive light on one thing though. Because while it's painful for a lot of idol fans, it is also what when they release idol dating news over and over again, it becomes more and more accepted for idols to be dating in society and in culture. And I do think what they did in the past decade has changed. They've been the ones that changed that part about the industry and culture, right? Because 10 years ago, right? Because 10 years ago, if for example, if 10 years ago Taeyeon was dating somebody, or who was popular 10 years ago, right? Girl Generation, Kara. If they were dating somebody at that point and Dispatch dropped the news about it, the world would, the entire peninsula would go nuts.
And that did happen a little bit. If you remember the news with SNSD,
right?
Taeyong and Baekhyun, yeah.
I wasn't hinting towards that, but I guess coincidentally it's true. And then only if you think about Kang Daniel and Jihyo, I don't want to pick up specific names, but think about Jihyo and Kang Daniel. A lot of people were more accepting, and people were very congratulatory. Momo and Hito, people were so excited in a very happy way, in the Korean fandom as well. I think that's been the positive part about this. That's changed.
I also think that they do sometimes release bad news, but at the same time, some of the stories they do drop, it's important that the public does get to know, right?
Yes.
And they are the vehicle for that to happen. They're the one who drops the exclusive. Everyone in Korea and everyone who's into Korean entertainment industry looks at it and they're like, oh my God, can you believe this story, right? If they don't exist, there are less credible sources dropping these news stories, and some of it might not come out as hard as it does, right? Like, what I mean by that is that if a lesser news agency released the story, it might get swept under the rug a little, right? People might not pay attention. But they've more or less built themselves up as the dropper of hot entertainment news, whether you like it or not, right? So I personally see them as like a necessary evil, to be honest. Like,
Right.
I don't like a lot of the things that they drop, but sometimes once in a while they drop something I'm like, well, it's good that this is out there because it changes
Right.
everyone's perspective on a situation.
I think it's gonna be impossible to have an entertainment industry without a group of people doing gossip and like art, like news reports like this.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, okay, it's impossible to get rid of them. Why don't we just have them be better? You know?
That's true. I know it's an interesting take because I know this obviously Dispatch is very controversial, especially in the world of K-pop because they out here dropping bombs. But let us know what you guys think down below. Let's move on to our news and events from last week. So the first one, let me preface this. Last night, I was about to go to bed. I had my lovely script prepared for today. All of a sudden, my phone started going off like crazy, right? Our Discord was popping off. I was like, something must have happened. Well, the news that dropped last night / today in Korea time is that Big Hit confirmed as the new largest shareholder of Pledis. On May 25th, it was officially confirmed that Big Hit is now the largest shareholder of Pledis Entertainment. Going forward, Pledis will be a subsidiary label under the Big Hit umbrella, but will still operate independently with plans to expand overseas. The label and artists currently under the label will receive financial, professional, and systematic support from Big Hit, along with further resources and connections on a global scale. Big Hit CEO Bang PD stated, "More than anything, I am glad that we can collaborate with CEO Han Sung-soo, who is the head of Pledis. Pledis' creative organization. Big Hit and Pledis will grow together with a mutual understanding through music and create synergy in the future. Pledis, of course, is the home of boy group 17 and Newest. Both of those groups were in the top 10 best-selling artists in 2019. So now they have places 1, which is BTS, place 2, which was 17, and place 10, which was Newest, all under their umbrella.
Wow.
Over the past year, Big Hit Entertainment has acquired or is now the largest shareholder of Source Music, the label of G-Friend, Superb, which is a mobile game company, and now Pledis. Lastly, before we talk about it, I want to talk about the differences between this acquisition and the acquisition of Source. So, from what I could find on the internets, previously, Pledis founder and CEO Han controlled 51% of the company, and then the remaining 49% was owned by SoNet, which is a Sony corporation, one of their subsidiaries. As Big Hit is now the largest shareholder, I kind of believe that they now control Han's 51% because that's what makes sense. Source is in a little bit of a different situation as Big Hit completely acquired the company all 100%, right? Which allows them to be more fully incorporated into Big Hit. So we'll have to see going forward what kind of relationship Big Hit and Pledis will have.
Right.
That's gonna be interesting. They learned from CJ and is pulling the CJ strat, because if you think about CJ, they did this with so many companies like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, CJ was rumored to be buying Pledis last year at some point, I believe.
Right. Except this year, CJ apparently got rid of so many of their shares in many of these companies, right? Like, they sold it back.
It's crazy to think of the artists that they have under their company right now, right? Like, G-Friend, Newest, 17. Those are all major players, right? In addition to, obviously, BTS and TXT. And they got the future Island group coming out, right?
Oh, my.
And then Source is going to have that girl group in the future.
Oh, man.
It's nuts, right?
Man, yeah, it's like Disney, right? Like, because they own Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own all these, animations, and they essentially put out a movie like every month or like 2 weeks. Obviously not now, but like, when things are normal. It's kind of like that. That's what's gonna be. We're gonna see a comeback from like this Big Hit / Source / Pledis conglomerate, if you will, like every so often. It's gonna be, man. It's crazy. So freaking.
The thing to talk about is that we now have a few companies that are like umbrella companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Obviously, SM owns many labels, including Woolim, right? I believe
They have a share in.
they have
Woolim.
they have a stake in Woolim, right?
Yeah.
You obviously CJ owns a lot of its own labels, right? Big Hit is now in that category. It's always been interesting to see how JYP has remained really independent as a label, right? That was something that I always think is interesting. I also saw people now talking about like what other labels can be eventually bought, right?
Right.
Oh.
I saw people pointing at a label like Cube but they have a new shareholder all of a sudden, right?
That's a whole other mess.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so they're technically owned by a bigger company right now anyway, right? So they're technically in an umbrella. Right? And then I'm pretty sure FNC is owned by CJ, I want to say.
Give me
I
a
might
second,
be
let me look it up.
I might be wrong with that, but I know FNC is owned by it's under CJ. It's their parent company.
Okay.
So most of the large companies now are under an umbrella, right? I think I was looking at the list and the two biggest, other than like the major, like, you know, YG's kind of independent, but they have their own kind of thing going on. JYP's independent. The two largest next ones up are WM, I believe, and then there was and RBW are the two like decently sized ones that aren't owned by anyone right now.
Okay. Wow.
But you got to think those are not like top 5 companies, so almost everything is starting to become an umbrella, right? It just seems like the path forward now is to get under a parent company and use their resources to help both of you grow.
Right.
Right. It's I don't want to make this like a business kind of thing, but like mid-stage, late-stage capitalism, right? Like companies start buying each other out. It becomes pretty much. It doesn't become a monopoly, but like it becomes an industry controlled by 2 or 3 companies. And I think we're kind of headed in that direction. I think that's proof that K-pop has become this gigantic industry. That's what it is. There's a lot of money flowing around, and people are learning how to use that money effectively. We'll figure out if it's effective or not. If it's not effective, I'm sure Big Hit will probably sell their shares in Pledis. But
I mean, if we think about it, essentially there's an arms race right now to get in companies and to expand globally. Those are the two things that they're competing against each other, because they recognize that everyone's buying up other companies, so that's the current trend. Additionally, everyone's trying to go global because they realize how small the Korean domestic market is relative to other markets. And they see the opportunity outside of Korea.
Right.
Now, who ends up being successful? I'm not going to say who I think might be, because I can't really tell you what's going to work or not. But I honestly think that a lot of these companies are going to try to do overseas stuff in the next couple of years, and we'll see what lands and what doesn't. And, you know, some of it will not land, and it'll be kind of weird, right?
Real quick, I just want to give a little more context about the whole situation. Apparently, SM has Woolim has bought back all their shares. So Woolim is completely independent.
Interesting.
Woolim is completely independent. The company is under SM. Besides main SM Entertainment, is SMCNC, which is all their comedians and like actors. Keyest, Million Market, SM Life Design Group, SM Bravo, which they make karaoke machines, Dream Maker Entertainment, which they make concerts. All the lower label entertainment groups like Label SJ for Super Junior and like Scream Records for EDM, Label V just for Wavy, and All I Know Music, which was a part of Mystic Story, which leads me into they have a big part of Mystic Story. Galaxia SM, which is a sports company. S-Team, which is a model company. Dream Us, which is a tech company.
I think we get the point.
No, that's the end of the list.
It was a long list.
It was a long list. But in terms of value and in terms of like the size, I don't think. I know I mentioned a lot of companies, but I'd be willing to bet like the Big Hit size is like kind of like probably bigger than the SM Entertainment Group in general. You know.
I mean, if you look at album sales from last year, they were like triple anyone else's.
Right. No, not just album sales, like the influence they have over the industry.
Well, of course. Especially on a global market, right?
Right.
especially on that. Like I know that SM does very well outside of Korea, but at the same time, Big Hit's international success is undeniable, right? I know the tour got canceled, but that stadium tour is ridiculous, right?
It's ridiculous.
Who's doing like, I get other people are doing concert tours, but who's doing like football stadiums, right? And selling them out. This is ridiculous. It's interesting though. We kind of knew this news was coming, so it wasn't the biggest surprise, but it got confirmed, right? So that's what it is.
Right.
Next, big changes to Melon, which is really ironic because we covered this 2 weeks ago, right? So it's good timing on my part for writing that piece.
You had a whole essay about it.
So Melon announced major upcoming changes to its chart system. Currently, Melon's real-time top 100 chart updates every hour based on the amount of hourly usage of each song. So it's just the last hour. With the new changes, the chart will still update every hour, but the chart will instead be calculated based on the number of unique users over the past 24 hours. The ranking numbers will also not be shown. I don't really know what that means in particular. Another change will be that those who use the play all feature within the top 100 chart. With the upcoming changes, the songs will be shuffled by default when using the play all feature. So I think that's an attempt to not make the top songs get all the views over and over again. Because obviously if you press play all and the songs are in the order of the songs, you're just going to listen to the top 10 songs before you log out, right?
Right.
Melon explained that these changes are being made to decrease focus on the competition and allow users to discover a more diverse range of trending music. All of the new changes will go into effect this summer. Additionally, Genie Music, which is a different chart, also announced that they are keeping their real-time charts for now, but they are going to continue to work on ways to make it more difficult for chart manipulation using different technology.
I think this tells us one thing, right? The first thing that comes to my mind is that they are confirming that they also think that there's manipulation in charts. And then they're doing what they can on their end to negate it. That's what I'm getting out of this personally.
And because Melon has the largest market share, they're like the first big domino, right?
Right.
I know other people have been switching to like a 24-hour weighted average type of thing, but because Melon's doing it now, it puts pressure on everyone else to follow suit.
That's pretty much what it is. I think they have like 40% or something. 40. We looked at this last time, but
it's a big deal that they specifically said unique users, right? Because by doing that, they are trying to prevent individuals from just playing the same song a gajillion times, right? That's basically what they're doing.
I think it opens up another conversation, right? Because I don't know how much iFans are into it, but a big thing with idol culture in Korea is streaming. Getting your favorite artists onto the charts, right? Like when I've seen this happen multiple times because I'm a part of a certain fandom. Rocket Punch catchy. But when a song drops, people will pull in all sorts of devices and get ready to they literally call it they're going to war, they're going to battle, that's what they do. They get out all these machines and start streaming like crazy and on their laptop, their tablet, their phone, their smartwatch, their home machines, my Galaxy Buds, and and it's, while I respect that they want to do it because they want to see their favorite artist succeed, I do think it is a confounding variable in the chart, and keeping the fair, it counteracts the whole point of a chart to begin with. And it, at one point, it was it became a weight of how big the fandom is rather than how much a song is popular with the general fandom. Or general population, and I think this is the move in the right direction in terms of that.
Also, going back to our conversation from a couple weeks ago, this will essentially kill all kills for anyone but the biggest groups now.
I think we just
Oh,
stopped
yeah.
talking about all kills. We
Right.
killed all kills.
Oh.
Now,
God, look at me.
Now, when all kills happen, it'll be something super rare and special, right? Because it's not going to be very prevalent anymore.
I'm sure when the big groups do it, I'm sure it'll happen for twice when they come back, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll probably happen for BTS and EXO and But besides that, look, I'm not expecting Rocket Punch to have like all killed anytime soon.
I just feel like
Ever, to be honest.
fans at home who are really big into all kills, you have to expect that it's going to become increasingly rare for it to occur.
It's an end of an era, boys.
All right.
An era.
Next, we got quick takes. So, first one, Bang PD is confirmed to be the general producer for CJ ENM and Big Hit's reality show Island. So he's going to be on there with flanked by Rain and Zico.
Oh my. Oh wow.
The man himself.
He's back.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Next one. Lai Kwai Lin has filed another lawsuit against Cube Entertainment for termination of his contract. Previously, in November of 2019, the Seoul District Court denied his initial request to nullify his exclusive contract, ruling in favor of Cube Entertainment by claiming that there was no valid reasons to terminate the idol's contract. Cube has stated, of course, that they want to respect the court's decision and wish for a smooth resolution. This revolved around the allegation that when Lai Kwai Lin signed up for the company, Cube sold his third-party rights in China to someone without his consent. That's what this is revolved around.
Okay.
That's the allegation. But the court already ruled once that no, it was fine. So we'll have to see what happens. Sucks for him though, because he's sitting on the shelf essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
And regardless of what happens, it's awkward now, right?
Imagine going to work and your boss is the person you sued.
Yeah, so it's a terrible situation for him. Next, Woollim Entertainment will be dropping a company song titled Relay on May 31st, featuring in-house artists including Infinite Lovely's Golden Child and One Rocket Punch.
Oh yeah, baby. I'm excited.
Next one. This is kind of nuts. Over 580,000 unique viewers from 109 countries watched TVXQ's 2-hour online concert. Wow. At around $30 a viewer, because it varied if you were in the fan club or not, you got a cheaper price. The concert is said to have generated around $20 million USD.
They still got it.
Oh, TVXQ, man. The OGs.
That's so much money. That's so much money. Because you got to think, giant concerts in the US, right? Right. It's like 80,000 people. This had 580,000. Just think about that.
A whole digit.
I know that it was $30 a viewer, which is less than the concert, but at the same time, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Next, MBK Entertainment founder with the last name Kim has been summoned by the I can't even speak right now.
Okay.
MBK Entertainment founder Kim was summoned by the prosecution for questioning regarding the Produce 101 vote manipulation controversy. So Kim is currently facing obstruction of business allegations as he allegedly ordered employees of his entertainment agency to vote for their trainees in the first season of Produce 101 using over 100,000 borrowed accounts. It has also been alleged that he specifically pressured other labels to go forward with the X1 promotions despite the investigations.
Okay, I mean, if this is all true, stupid.
Yes. All right, lastly, YG announced that Bang Ye-dam will release his first solo single in June ahead of Treasure's full debut in July. YG also stated that Treasure will be releasing 3 to 4 songs from their debut in July to the end of the year, in a similar fashion to Big Bang's debut run back in 2006. For reference, it has been 1 year and 4 months since the end of Treasure's pre-debut survival program Treasure Box.
Okay, look, I usually find this funny, but I'm kind of getting a little angry. YG is just doing all talk, man. They're just all talk here. No show, just all talk. I need proof. That's what I need.
I get that Bang Ye-dam is probably like the most notable because he was pretty well known before Treasure, but like, why?
That's the question. Why?
Nobody ever knows.
Like, the funny thing is he's getting, well, it's not funny, it's sad. He's getting solo stuff before the other members of Blackpink. Think about that.
Where's the other?
Think about that.
Oh man, okay, is it really a good idea to begin with a solo like this?
No.
Haven't we seen time and time again that pushing a solo artist in a group is not a good idea before they debut?
Because you got to think, best scenario, it does well. And then he's the hard carry of the group. But then there's not equal popularity.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, this flops, and now no one cares about Treasure. Right? or it's not no one cares, but it lowers the value of treasure, right?
Right.
It just seems like why wouldn't you do treasure first? I just don't get it. What about you guys?
I mean, the first thing I'm thinking, because I'm trying to say like, what it can't be that bad, because I'm pretty sure it has been done before to some extent.
Mhm.
I think of JYP's JJ project, right?
Yep.
Which was a duo before the full debut of GOT7, and I don't know. I guess I didn't mind it when that happened, so I'm hoping that this doesn't have that negative of a response from possible fans and general audience. I don't know. It just has a bad feeling to do this like this.
As someone who's
bad
not
taste.
super into treasure, it's just like baffling to me.
Yeah.
YE.
Yeah.
Because everyone's expectation of YG has been lowered significantly over 2019 and up to now. So the fact that they keep doing these weird things puts people even further off of them as a company and their artists, which is not what you want to do.
Yeah.
It honestly just feels like YG is like, I'm gonna do this cool stuff. Look at me. Like, give me attention. I will be so cool. And like, I'm like, okay, I'll wait. Can you please show us those songs that you've promised like multiple times for
I mean-
over 2 years?
Everyone was expecting the Treasure plus Blackpink stuff to happen by the end of June, right?
Right.
And now we're getting neither of them in June.
I called it. I was like,
Just feels
True.
kind of like a
That's
noof. But that covers all the news this week. It's actually pretty significant. The big hit becoming the largest shareholder of Pledis in the history of K-pop,
It
because
is.
Pledis is like a top 10 size company, and for them to acquire them says a lot. But not lastly, we are at comebacks and releases. Warren, hit us with them.
comebacks and releases with Warren. May 26th on Tuesday, we have Monster X, Park Ji-hoon, and Wonmi. Ooh, that's a lot of comebacks. May 31st on Sunday. That's right, we have the Woolen family song dropping. June 1st on Monday, the biggest girl group players of the game, Twice, is coming back. And other confirmed comeback news, we have Victon on June 2nd, Daya on June 10th, Sunmi on June, G-Friend in July, and Treasure supposedly in July.
A couple of things I want to point out. It's good to see that Daya is not done, right? At least they're getting something.
Thankfully.
I'm a little surprised.
That's happy.
Bluntly.
June is shaping up to be the most important girl group month in probably the history of K-pop. I'll say why though.
Okay.
Twice, right? We have a pre-release from Blackpink. We have Sugi, Irene, unit group plus IZ*ONE are all coming back in the month.
Oh my goodness.
All four of the major players are releasing something. I don't think that's ever. It might have happened in the past, but in recent history, this is the most significant month. 1 month.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
big battle in terms of girl groups.
Summer song.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens because a lot of you got to think, Blackpink, even the pre-release is gonna pop off. You know, Twice is gonna have crazy numbers. Based on the last physical album sales for IZ*ONE, that's gonna pop off, and that Sugi Irene unit is probably one of the most anticipated units to ever have happened in K-pop, right?
Right. And
It's
there's
gonna
like
be
small
absolutely
groups
crazy.
coming back too, right?
Yeah,
the
there-
Cosmic
yeah, there's-
Girls are coming back. You know, like
A lot of people
Daya's
are coming back.
Right.
Oof.
I feel like it's gonna be one of those months where do we cover 7 songs this week?
More content.
We've been doing well at keeping it at 4 or lower, to be honest, which is kind of where we like to. But
Yeah.
we're now at State of the Nation. I'm not really gonna talk about Chwang anymore, also known as Produce Camp. I gotta correct this week, everyone. Just not my type of show. I will still watch it. Maybe after Youth with You ends, I'll stop. But Youth with You, I think we got one. I think the finale happens next weekend, so it's about that. Anita, how much Road to Kingdom have you watched?
I am on episode 4, a little past halfway point. So I've seen performances of who was it?
Pentagon.
Wana's,
Yeah.
Pentagon, On and Off, Golden Child, and Very Very.
I am not gonna spoil anything, but the boys are going to be one of the winners of that show. I'm
The
just gonna
boys
throw
have
that
set
out there.
the bar very high. The
Anita, well,
boys,
they go-
the boys-
they go last this round, right?
Yeah, because they get to choose. the
It's
order.
ridiculous again. Let me just say that.
Every single week.
It's ridiculous. You can tell that they're spending so much more money than everyone else.
Yeah, production value. Oh my god, the production value for their performances.
So there's going to be an elimination after the points come out for this round, right?
Yeah.
It seems like right now it's going to come down to One Us or Very Very.
Okay,
is
to be honest, we're on episode 4 of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw this coming from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly for Very Very, just because of the way they were doing like the editing and the screen time they had, and then how they placed in a lot of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it coming. I hoped that it wouldn't be that disadvantage because there was also like a rookie group in it, TOO. But of course, the investment on that group is also like from the producers of the show.
Yeah.
So there's an advantage there for them. So I don't know. I'm happy that these groups are getting the exposure they deserve, because after the performances I saw, everybody is really good. Like, they're very much underrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy for them, and I hope there are results. You know, like it pays off in their individual promotions later on, like it did with Oh My Girl. So I don't know. I'm enjoying the performances as they are. I'm trying not to get invested in the whole voting system and who actually makes
The whole
it.
point system is all like BS on that show.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
You know, let's just say it for what it is. TOO will not be eliminated in the first elimination. there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Just because they're literally Mnet children.
Oh.
Yep.
There's no way they're gonna eliminate them in round 1.
I thought you meant that they were like really good. That's why. But
No, honestly though, they've
They're
been doing
good.
well. They've been
They're
doing really
good.
well. But it's the combination of that they are under CJ. I'm not gonna say the show's manipulated, right? But the fact that they're under CJ and the fact that they've been performing pretty well, everyone thought like if they were in a CJ group, they have a higher chance. But because they're a CJ group, I can't see them being eliminated in the first round. I just can't.
maybe CJ is going to be like, look at us, we're clean now, and they like.
No, but they placed pretty well. That's the problem. Like,
Yeah, they're
never
doing
mind.
good. They're
they're
doing
doing
good.
well.
Yeah.
It is honestly coming down. I think it's coming down to One Us or Very Very, which is
We'll
sad
see.
either way.
We'll see.
Honestly, in other news in terms of K-pop, what have I been listening to lately? Eyes One's coming back soon, so I listened to some Eyes One.
Are you
Listen to
excited?
some Dream. The hype hasn't hit me yet for some reason. I don't know why.
Are you even a Wiz one?
No. I'm worried.
What's going on?
I'm worried because this is the first song outside of the Flower trilogy.
I think. I mean, no, you should be excited. They're exploring new parts of their
I
concept.
like the Flower trilogy, sir. Like, I'm concerned because you remember the Pledis guy who said he was actually making the music decisions back, like, for the last 3 songs, said, like, I'm kind of done with, like, hands off.
Yeah.
I am so worried about what they're going to release now. Like, I'm very concerned.
Look, it's gonna be okay. Look, my favorite group had a poo comeback. They're still okay. You know?
Yeah, but your girl group is technically permanent until they decide to end the group. We're on a limited time window here. We got like 2 to 3 releases max.
Okay, that's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
It's but it's not bad to be optimistic. You know.
I'm cautiously optimistic because I
Okay,
don't think they would release something bad.
Have they dropped teasers yet?
Not really. There's been some photos, but not like a straight teaser.
Dude, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it.
Last thing, they did have that Twice teaser drop today. It had some choreo in it. It's gonna be good. Let's just say that. But that's all I've really been doing. What about you guys?
I can wait until after. I have some like closing remarks.
Oh, well, I guess I'll go. But I just remembered, and I wanted to give a shout out. It won't be the 25th by the time you're listening to this, but today is the anniversary of SHINee. So SHINee Day is trending. You know, people are remembering SHINee, and without really meaning to, I was listening to a couple of their songs yesterday or 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the one song that came up, and I forgot how hype I was for it and how hype it still is for me. Is Amigo. So if you know that song,
Amigo.
if you know
I
that
like
song,
Amigo.
it came out in 2008, 9. I'm not sure, but it was around their debut era, right?
Mm.
It was a repackage to their debut.
2008 October.
Yeah, 2008. I don't know. Classic, great choreo, very very interesting lyrics, but that's how it was.
Shiny's like one of those groups where like I still listen to their music and it doesn't feel old.
Right?
it's-
Right?
it's
It was still
It's difficult to
upbeat.
believe. It's difficult to believe that they had songs like 10 years ago that are like they could drop today and they'd be still competitive, like
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
like Lucifer, like View, like what is the one?
View is such an underrated banger.
It is by far one of my favorite boy group songs like
Sherlock.
all time.
I love Sherlock.
Sherlock is great. What's
Yeah.
the one with their like eyeballs?
Married to the Music.
Yes, Married to the Music. That one's
Okay.
really good too.
Yes.
I had some closing remarks if you guys have like are done.
Yeah, I'm good.
You look a little cautious.
No, I'm interested. Go.
Oh, okay. I, as I was hinting a little earlier, I've been listening to Korean rap for about 11 years. The first CD I bought was about 9 years. It's been a while. It's kind of shaped who I am. Like listening to the lyrics and messages, and like it was a big part of like my grow up process. And it's time and time again. There has been multiple idol fandoms who attack our culture, and kind of attack us aggressively, and kind of judge us and kind of like do that. I really hope that everyone listening is not like that. I've had a lot of instances like that this week because BTS obviously, Agust D dropped a very rap kind of song. And it's one thing if the two groups of people don't interact, but one for some reason or the other, they always bring it in, and it causes a huge storm of poop in the comments. It's not pleasant. It's one thing if you guys think we're poop and just think about it that way and keep it to yourselves. But like, if just don't bring it into each other's areas and then call each other poop, right? Like,
Be nice.
I don't know. It was
Can
a
you,
big.
can you get an example of what you're talking about? Because it's quite vague.
Right. Well, Agust D came back, and there were a couple fans, both on the I fandom front and the K fandom front, who were openly saying stuff like, you shouldn't even compare Suga with like Korean rappers because they're cringy. They are like not even worth listening to. They are not authentic. They are not unique. They are probably literally quoting what they said. They are actually the lowest tier of the creative culture there is, and it was, I guess if you want to think about it that way, whatever, but like, why you gotta bring that to me, right? Like, it's your opinions are your opinions, and we say this over and over again in the podcast. It's great to have opinions, and it's great to have open conversations about them. And it's okay to move on and disagree. We live in a world where I feel like, and I see this in all parts of the internet, we live in a world where like if you don't agree with a person, if someone doesn't like the thing that you like, man, that's what ticks people off. And I'm like, why? Like, chill. Like, people like different things, right? Like, like JoJo. That's a very popular anime.
Oh.
I love JoJo. Don't get me wrong, but like. There has been like a lot of people who are like, like, oh, why don't you like JoJo? It's you are nitpicking and you are biased. I win. Bye bye. I'm quoting Video Game Donkey here, but it was a very messy week because of that. And it was kind of unpleasant to watch. And I'm not gonna say we're perfect people either. There's been instances where like rappers like Be Free openly criticized BTS for no stupid reason.
Yep.
I was like, why would you do that? They're not even a part of our industry. Like, dude, So I don't want to say like we're like saints and you guys are evil. No, we're all idiots. And like I hope that we all realize that we're idiots and just be nice to each other.
Yeah. And Be Free, he's now just B because now he's in jail.
He is. If you come to Discord and go to the hip hop channel, you'll find out why. He's a stupid idiot.
Mess.
He's actually a stupid
he
idiot.
just seems like kind of Seregi, aka trash, kind of around like overall a little bit sometimes. That guy.
He's one of those people that I was like willing to overlook a little bit because his music is really good and like. And then like last week, what happened was there's a rapper called King Chi Main, who's another stupid guy to begin with, but like they were kind of like freestyling in the comments of Instagram. They were like writing down one-liners that like rhymed on top of each other. And then King Chi Main said something along the lines of like, oh, like, I'll beat you up if you come my way. And then Be Free took that personally all of a sudden. He was like, what'd you just say? And like, what ended up happening was the next day, they met up in real life. King Chi Main thought they were going to apologize. And Be Free punched him. The first thing that happened. And now he's arrested in jail, literally. Stupid. What? Stupid. Why people are so stupid? We're all idiots. We don't deserve any of this. We're all not intellectual enough to have any of this luxury of K-pop and entertainment. Sorry. That's a little bit of a rant. I had to get that out of my system. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
All right, well, that leaves us in a... I think that's a good point, though. I guess at the end of the day, let me do an old man Doug summary here.
Wisdom.
It is completely fine to enjoy what you like.
Yeah.
And because you personally like to have your opinions, you have to think that other people enjoy their own opinions. And you should respect that. Because if you're going to trample on other people's opinions, you then have to have the expectation to have people trample on your opinions because that's only fair. And no one wants that. Therefore, like what you like, but you should like that other people like other things and don't agree with you. Right. Because if everyone agreed to like the same things, the world would be very boring and there would be very limited options.
Yeah.
Additionally...
Oh, no. More.
Additionally.
I think more to do with what Warren's saying is that you should always be respectful when you go into other people's houses.
Yep.
Because it's not your domain, right? It's like if I visited Warren's house and I'm assuming like, and it's a Korean house and I'm like, LOL, I'm just going to wear my shoes inside his house, right?
No.
Regardless of the rules and the norms, it'd be a big oof. We'd have a conflict here, right?
My mom would serve you bad kimchi. That's what she would do.
But because I'm a respectful guy, let's say we do wear shoes in my house, I'll be like, well, he doesn't wear shoes in his house. I guess I'll respect him because he's my friend. Or they have a whole different opinion and standards than I do. I should follow those rules because that just makes things run easier. So I guess the point that I'm saying is just be respectful in general, right?
Yes.
And know your surroundings. That's be self-aware at what you're doing because I think that's a thing a lot of times we sometimes forget is self-awareness, and honestly I think self-awareness is a very valuable trait in life. Okay, but
thank you.
That kind of wraps up what we're talking about this week. Please go fill out that boy group survey. I am very let me be frank with you. I am very nervous about that video. And I think a lot of people can tell we've been sort of trying to put it off over the past year or so. Mostly because it's one thing if we can have civil discourse about things that we're very informed in. Being that Warren and I and Anita too know, like, we know more about girl group K-pop than guy group K-pop by the nature of what we listen to. At least Warren and I, for sure. We are making this boy group cheerleaders video because the nation wants us to, and honestly it's fair too because we made one about girl groups twice now, so we are making a guy group one. We are eventually going to make a video about the results of this cheerleaders video, and I am honestly a little bit concerned about the response we're going to receive with that because from my perspective, people are very passionate, which is a great thing about the groups they like, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to make it abundantly clear that the tier list that we are presenting and the points we're going to be making are just our points, right?
Yeah.
And they're just opinions.
I do also want to say that I think a lot of our listeners by this point know that, but like we're also going to get a lot of comments that like don't check us out regularly.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
Nature
it's
of
like
YouTube.
we're just doing this for fun. We've been doing this podcast just
Yeah.
for fun. So we'll try to not take it too seriously, but we will be cautiously optimistic that this will turn out to not be a hot mess.
I'm sure somebody will be angry in the comments.
Regardless.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
We'll do
but
what
just,
we can.
just know, please go fill that out because it will inform. I think I like to collect all this data. I think it's a very fun thing to do, but at the same time, as we've always said, just be respectful of other people's opinions because at the end of the day, what the results are is the composite of going to be like 100 people's opinions, right?
Yep.
Right.
It's like if you want to be angry at anyone, you can't really be angry at an individual because it's 100 people's opinions combined, right?
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that. All right, we got like really deep and stuff at the end of the pod. Thank you, Warren, for getting us to this point.
Yeah.
But this has been SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. I am Doug. I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining me today. Please go fill out the boy group tier list survey to inform the nation about where we think the tier list is for guy groups. We'll see y'all next time when we cover probably Monster X and at least twice at a minimum because I'm excited for both of those releases. We'll see you guys then. Bye.
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 Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Gogu Mama, Jack, Jacob, Malfiar, NJ Parks, Pure K-pop Sounds, Snap Wilson, Tier, and Wolf297. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K-Music Erday, Malfiar, No Bias Nuna, Tuggles, V, and Wolf297.